Well, I've been making some changes to my rig, and I mentioned it in one of my other videos, and someone asked me to do a blog post on what I'm actually installing in here and what kind of changes I'm making. So first of all, I've gone with an MSI Big Bang Xpower for my latest build. It's a very solid board, comes with a very good accessory package and just all the features that I really need. Lots of PCI Express slots. I'm pretty much done with PCI personally, so that's one of the reasons I decided to go with this board. And down under that Enzotech Luna water block, I've got a 980X 6-core processor. That's 12 gigs of OCZ Special Edition. See the blue and black color scheme, which is just dead sexy on there. And so I'll be running that in the motherboard. This is an MSI GeForce GTX 480. I've gone with a single card this time around, although I usually do run SLI, and I may change it later on in the future to add an additional graphics card. I am using a modular power supply. That's an Enermax Revolution 85 Plus. It's an 80 Plus silver power supply, so I will have the option to add more cables and add another graphics card in the future, should I desire it. Yes, that is a VisionTech Killer Nick. It's got a feature I really like. It's got that bandwidth allocation feature, which I find really cool. I like their software. Overall, I've found that having the Killer NIC in my computer is better than not having the Killer NIC in my computer. So I went ahead and replaced my Intel NIC with it a while back. So let's move back and take an overall look at the PC. This isn't a Silverstone TJ07. The only modifications I've really made to it are a couple holes here and there, and I have painted the interior with a black wrinkle. I had it done by Mountain Mods a couple years ago at this point, I guess. I am using Gelid wing fans up here in the visible parts of the build, and then here in the front, Gelid wings again. But then where it's actually hidden, I have the new Silverstone air penetrators, which are running the main Thermochill PA 120.4 radiator that does most of the cooling in this build. Although there is a Black Ice 2 Pro here in the front, but these fans actually only turn on if the system gets hot, which with a single graphics card in it is very unlikely for the liquid cooling system to actually heat up. Speaking of the liquid cooling system, here's an EK GTX 480 nickel-plated plexi block. So that's going to go on the 480 once I've finished doing some burn-in and testing on this system. You can see the back of the system. I'm using noise dampening mounts for all of the fans where that is a possibility. This build is all about silence. This liquid cooling system is not for performance. All of these fans will be run at much less than full voltage at all times, thanks to this guy right here. This is the brains of the operation. So it's got a couple of temperature sensors, one of which gets attached to the side of my main radiator, and the other one sits around the, here. There it is right there, sits in the north bridge. So basically I use those as a reference points for how hot is my liquid cooling system, how hot are the air-cooled components in my rig, and then I adjust the fan speeds in zones. So these two and these two are actually adjusted together. And I use the 92s first because at low RPM, where I don't need a lot of cooling, they're actually a little bit quieter than the 120s. Then the 120s kick in when things get hot. And the liquid cooling system actually runs with the fans off on the front and right around like 30% fan speed on the bottom ones until things start to get a little bit warm. There's that Enermax Revolution. Yes, I realize in an ideal world I would have this fan turned around, but then I would have to use the other holes in my power supply mount down here, and then I'd like chip the paint. And really, I have enough radiator in this rig to cool a couple machines like this, so I'm not too worried about it. There's the air penetrator fans I was talking about. These are going to be a great addition to this build. I just changed over to these. I was using Yatloons down here before because air penetrators are designed to actually blow air in a column directly away from the fan. So what that means is once I close up this side panel and the mesh is sitting here, it should more this is all in theory, it should in theory more effectively blow the air through and out the other side panel rather than just kind of scattering it around in here and relying on random chance to blow out the other side of the computer. So that is my theory. Seems like a good theory. Here's some inverters for cold cathodes. Here's where I mount my 2.5-inch SSD drives. So I'll just run all of the SATA cables here. I use this hole right here to run some SATA power up there, so all the drives stay completely hidden out of the way. I still have some stuff to do, so I still got to mount a pump and some kind of reservoir down here. I haven't decided how I'm going to do that because honestly it's a total nightmare to mount one of these. I've got a few MC Res micros here. Here's a Rev 2. Here's a Rev 1. Here's a really old Rev 1 that has like some kind of gunk on the side of it. And then I've also got one of these T-Virus reses. This one leaks though, so, and I haven't really found a place to put it where it would really work. Like it doesn't really fit here, which is ideally where I would want to put it. So I think that one's pretty much out of the question right now. Yeah, this is what the floor looks like. Oh yeah, I've been working on sleeving. The Revolution comes with just horrendous looking sleeving on it. I mean, look at this. Ugh. So I went ahead and replaced it with plain black sleeving that I bought from cableorganizer.com. It's cheap, it's fast, things get done. So yeah, that was why I went that route. So you can see all the cables are now sleeved black. I've got the 2 EPS 8 pins up here. I've got my 6 pins here, my 24 pin. I've still got to do some SATA cables as well as a Molex cable. Make sure I've got power everywhere. Oh yeah, I've got one of those cool LG Blu-ray / HD DVD drives. I know no one cares about HD DVD anymore, but if I ever happened across an HD DVD drive, or disc, I could play it. So there you go. That's more than you can say. Oh yeah, I replaced the front of the case, the front drive bay covers with Antec 900 ones. So now they are perforated and you can run air through them, which is good. Here in the front, I still have the stock USB FireWire audio thing. And I have UV lights. Yep, black lights here, 2 of them here, 1 more back here. And that lights up the UV blue PrimoFlex LRT tubing, as well as the UV sensitive Gelid wing fans. And I used to have a DFI LAN party board, so it lit that up as well. But there you go. That is the build that I am working on, and it's been sitting here for, wow, like weeks. I wish it worked, because then I would have a computer again. That would be great.